Covering the closing stages of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco to discuss more on the just concluded tournament. Welcome back, Sadiq Shaban. You were our man on the ground in Morocco. There's so much to talk about on the tournament that just drew to a close. But let's talk about your experience as a journalist. The clock is now ticking. Is Morocco ready to co-host the World Cup in just 4 years' time?
The straight answer would be yes. As of this particular time, Morocco believes that if any major tournament were to be hosted in that country, they are ready. The scale of which perhaps they say has never been seen before, including the World Cup, because they say they have a profile and experience, facility.
They have profile and experience. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. قبل ما نخليكم تشاهدوا هذا فيديو للصحافة والإعلام الإفريقي، خصوصا الإعلام الإفريقي التابع أو المتحدث باللغة الإنجليزية. كنتكلموا هنا على الجنوب الإفريقي والغرب الإفريقي اللي قرابين من جنوب إفريقيا، قرابين من نيجيريا، قرابين من غانا، اللي كيتكلموا باللغة الإنجليزية. سمعوا شنو قالوا على التنظيم ديال المغرب للنسخة الأخيرة من الكان والإمكانيات الكبيرة اللي كيتوفر عليها المغرب من أجل تنظيم كأس العالم. ما نطولش عليكم، خليكم تشاهدوا عاد نرجعوا في التعليق.
It is an infrastructure to host big tournament, and we saw it while in Morocco. We saw the transportation interconnectivity between cities was excellent, railway, air transportation, also in terms of stadium. Morocco put in a lot of efforts to renovate stadia and make sure that in all the 6 cities where these tournaments was hosted, they were ready. And I'm talking about next level technology that we saw deploying the very best of security arrangements, logistics, security, hospitality. So Morocco is ready. And in fact, Moroccans have this small joke among themselves that they want a big chunk of the matches of the FIFA World Cup because they believe they are ready.
All right.
You leave the capital city, Abidjan, you go to the other cities, you have a challenge of finding even hotel. Of course, the road might be good to take you there, but they are not highways. You spend a lot of time. And of course, I've been to Eastern Africa. I know you have infrastructure, but like most West African countries, when you leave the capital city, the remaining part of the country, it's a bush. That's the reality. And you don't have top-class stadium. That's the reality. How many times the CHAN was postponed? Because of lack of proper infrastructure. And remember in '96, AFCON was given to Kenya. Because they were not ready, it went to South Africa. And at the moment we're speaking, the 3 countries are not properly ready. And Morocco have raised the bar so high. You are in Morocco. Then from now on, we don't want to expect anything less. That's why I said what I say. Morocco hosted because Guinea failed to do it. They were not ready. That's why I asked the question. In case you fail or there is more delay, what is going to happen? Obviously, it will be taken from the 3 countries. I was there for the CHAN. And on top of that, Kenya doesn't have apply visa to any African citizen, but Tanzania does. Uganda does. It was a nightmare for fun even to move around. Those are critical issues. That's why I say, if you guys are not ready, obviously it will be taken away from you.
Claiming that it takes 2 days from one country to another, well, we all know that it takes, under half a day to get to Arusha, to get to Kampala. So he was talking from a point of misinformation. But the point he was trying to drive across is Morocco has raised the bar very, very high, and it will be a very hard act to follow. And on that note, I agree with him. Morocco, we cannot compete with them. The kind of facilities they have, they're even building the biggest stadium in the world in Casablanca, 115,000 seater stadium in Casablanca. They are co-hosting the World Cup in 2030 with Spain and Portugal, and already they have things running, the infrastructure, new trains coming up, new roads, new hospital facilities. So in terms of that, we agree, we are behind Morocco. But in terms of roads and Africa being a bush, I think we need to invite Mamadou, and I'll talk to my chairman to give him a car. Make sure he goes to Kampala. We drive with him to Kampala, and we drive with him to Dar es Salaam so that he can show us those bushes and confirm that indeed there are roads that can take less than a day to get across the border. You know, he has really worked hard to make sure that CAF is in a sound financial footing. You know, he announced a 95%, for example, increase in revenues. Ticket sales from the last AFCON, you know, there were 5 million, and in Morocco there were 11 million. So you can imagine the multiplicity of you know, revenue. So by the time we come to Africa, AFCON is evolving. The social media space will be more active that time. There's even an esports game that has been created by a Japanese company called Konami on AFCON. And you know how tech savvy Kenyan Gen Zs and other people are. So it's going to be a different AFCON. We can't beat Morocco in terms of infrastructure.
Local observers say lessons from the 2025 AFCON highlight the need to strengthen direct air connectivity between Morocco and the rest of Africa ahead of the 2030 FIFA World Cup.
Most fans came from Africa. They backed their teams and attended other matches, helping drive tourism activity across the country. Going forward, Morocco will need to ensure easier access and more direct connections for future tournaments.
Beyond the games, the tournament acted as a real test of Morocco's hosting capacity, showcasing the kingdom's potential and the level of preparation required as it prepares for the 2030 FIFA World Cup.
As a journalist, more experienced, maybe you can advise what they're supposed to do right now to make sure by the time comes, they are ready for it.
Look, for example, in Cote d'Ivoire, let me give you an example. 3 months before the AFCON, the Minister of Sport was fired, the Prime Minister was fired. Why? Because the pitch, soccer pitch, was not right. The government invested a lot of money, it went a different way. Now, first rain, the pitch became a swimming pool. And look at Morocco, we came in the rain. The day of the opening ceremony, it was raining throughout the day, throughout the night, but we could see the ball rolling like on a carpet. We expect something like that in the 3 eastern countries, not less. You understand? And of
We understand sir. صراحة أنا استمتعت بهذا التقرير ديال القنوات الإفريقية كما قلت ديال المنطقة ديال الجنوب والغرب الإفريقي اللي كيتحدثوا باللغة الإنجليزية، كيفاش تكلموا بمنطق وبموضوعية، والتقرير ديالهم كان رائع على البنية التحتية المغربية، وقارنوها بالنسخ السابقة، لأن شي وحدين كيتهجموا على هذه النسخة هذه وكيقول لك النسخة مثيرة للجدل، لكن ما شافوش بأن هذه النسخة هذه من حيث الأرقام، من حيث المشاهدات، من حيث الإحصائيات، باش ما بغيتي بالمستوى بالأهداف، كانت أفضل نسخة في تاريخ كأس إفريقيا. لكن هذوك اللي كنا كتنافسوا معاهم، تنافسنا معاهم من أجل تنظيم هذه النسخة هذه، ونسحبوا ما قدروش أنهم يواجهونا بحكم أن الملف ديالنا كان أقوى بكثير. بقات عندهم الحرقة والعقدة وحقرناهم، بقاو كيهاجمونا في الإعلام ديالهم وكيقولوا هذه النسخة مثيرة للجدل، أسوأ نسخة، لكن الواقع يقول أنها أفضل نسخة في تاريخ كأس إفريقيا. فدابا كمتابعينا الكرام، ما تبخلوش لنا بالتعليقات ديالكم وتابوناو في القناة باش تصلكم جديد الاس سبورت. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.